Welcome everyone to our 45-minute Vinyasa practice. Find a nice seat on your mat, a comfortable seat. And once you're seated, it'd be nice if you could let your eyes close down and begin to focus on your sitting bones. Feel your sitting bones resting on your mat. And see if you can feel that slight pressure right at the sitting bones, right where they're contacting your mat. See if you can keep your awareness there. And just notice what that feels like for a moment. Notice if you feel the pressure change or if it feels pretty constant. Then begin to relax your legs, your back, your shoulders. Relax your neck a little bit. Relax your hands. Now bring your awareness to your nostrils. And keep your awareness there as you breathe in. Feel the coolness at the base of the nose. Now feel the breath coming into the body. Imagine it circulating in your body. And then breathe out through the nose and feel that the breath is warmed a bit. Do that twice more, breathing in through both nostrils, feeling the coolness right at the base of the nose. Imagine the breath flowing through the body, flowing into the lungs. Feel it warming, and then breathe out through both nostrils. You do that one more time. Breathing in through both nostrils, focusing on that coolness, and then breathe out. And let it go. Bring the hands to the knees, palms facing down. Sit up nice and tall, pull your shoulders back a little bit. Now on an inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale and slowly release the shoulders down and back. Do that again. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale and slowly release the shoulders down and back. One more time. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up, a little bit higher as you breathe in, and then exhale. And release the shoulders down and back, and then let your arms float up and overhead. Bring the palms together, look forward, and then press the palms together as you bring them down to heart center. Elbows are far apart. Inhale and reach up. Now bring the arms out to a T with the palms facing down, and bring the right hand down, reach the left hand up, and then over, pressing the left sitting bone down into the mat. And see if you can keep that left elbow up above the shoulder or the head. So try not to bring the elbow forward like that. Lift it up instead. If it helps, you can look up towards the sky as well. Now reach through that left hand a little bit more and start to feel a nice deep stretch coming into the left side body. Now engage the core as you rise, pressing through the right hand, and then over to the other side. Bring the left hand down and reach through the right hand. Remember to stay grounded in the right sitting bone. And notice if you're pulling that right elbow forward. If you are, just lift it back up. Maybe look up a little bit. And feel the stretch on the right side body. Now inhale and rise. The core engages as you come up to protect the back. And then the right hand down and the left hand reaching. And rise. And to the other side. Left hand down, right hand reaching. Keep drawing the navel in, right hand down, left hand reaches. And one more time, bring the left hand down and reach with the right hand. On an inhale, back to center, let the arms reach up and overhead, interlace the fingers and then point the index fingers. This is arrow mudra. And then stretch up through the index fingers, get really, really tall through the index fingers. Press the sitting bones down, draw your navel in. Extend a little bit more, just another 1/16 of an inch. And then lift your gaze up. Look towards the index fingers. And then level the chin. Bring your hands to heart center. Press the palms together. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Draw your navel in and round your spine forward, bringing the forehead down towards the mat. I'm feeling a really nice stretch in my low back as I bring my forehead down and touch the mat with it. On an inhale, keep drawing your navel in as you rise. Keep your chin on your chest. Then let your arms float up and overhead. And then as you exhale, bring the hands behind you. I'm going to show you from the side. Interlace the fingers behind the back, straighten the elbows. If you press your knuckles towards the back of the mat, you're going to find your shoulder blades coming more deeply together on the back. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, hinge at the hips if you can. See, my spine is nice and long, folding forward at the hips. And then reach the knuckles up and overhead. And now engage the core deeply as you rise. Keep your spine long again. Once you're all the way up, press the knuckles towards the back of the mat. Let your shoulder blades come even a little bit closer together on the back. And then release the hands. Your gaze is straight forward. And now bring the arms out to a T and take a twist to the right. Bring your left hand to your right knee. Bring your right hand down behind you. Breathe in deeply and at the same time draw your navel in towards your spine. And then exhale and very gently twist. I don't want you to twist too much. Don't force it. Just let the twist evolve on its own. We're going to be here 2 more breaths. Not forcing yourself into a twist. Just noticing what your body's doing. Is it moving more deeply into the twist? Or is it resisting? If it's resisting, don't force it. Just let it go. 1 more breath. And now back to center. Once you're there, reach your arms up and overhead and then exhale. Bring the hands down in front of you. Spread your fingers wide. The thumbs are pointing towards one another. Now press your chest forward. Lift your chin a little bit. Look up towards the sky and press your tailbone towards the back of the mat. Let your body come into a little bit of a back bend. Not too much, just a little. Feel a little stretch in the throat. And then level your chin. Press your hands into the mat as you rise back up. Bring your arms out to a T. Take a twist to the left this time. The right hand comes to the left knee. The left hand is down behind you. Same thing we did on the other side. Now don't force the twist. Draw the navel in. And then allow the twist to evolve. So allow your body to surrender into the twist. Don't force it. 2 more breaths. Breathing in. And then exhaling. Maybe if there's space in your body, twist a little bit more, or maybe not. Notice resistance if there is any. Don't fight it. Just let it be. 1 more breath. Good job. Back to center. Now reach the arms high. Exhale to heart center. Press the palms together. The elbows come out. Draw the navel in. We're rounding forward a second time. Bring the forehead down towards the mat. Keep the chin on the chest as you slowly rise, drawing the navel in as you come up. Reach the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, this time we're going to bring the hands down behind us with the fingers pointing towards the back of the mat. The thumbs are pointing away from one another. Press the palms into the mat. Draw your shoulder blades together and then lift your chin. Press the hands into the mat even more. Let your chest reach up towards the sky. 2 more breaths here. And 1 more. Now slowly lean forward so the weight comes off the hands. Your arms are going to want to float up and overhead as that happens. Let that occur. And then bring the hands to heart center and then release them all the way down in front of you and roll over into table pose. We've come to table pose with the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Hopefully my body looks like that. Now draw the navel up a little bit. So if you let your belly drop down like that, you're creating a big arch in the lower part of the back, the lower thoracic spine and the lumbar spine. What I want you to do is draw your navel up a little bit towards the spine so that the back is a little flatter than that. Now drop the belly down and lift your chin into cow pose on an inhale. And then exhale into cat pose, pressing your hands into the mat. Draw your navel up towards your spine as you do that. Now inhale to cow pose, second time here. And exhale to cat. And 3 more times. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Twice more. Inhale to cow, assuming my counting is right. And exhale to cat. And let's do it 1 more time. Inhale to cow pose. And then exhale to cat pose. Press the middle of the back a little bit more towards the sky. Press your hands into the mat just a bit more. And then release back to table pose. From there, step your right foot forward, bringing the right foot between the hands. Press into the right foot and reach the arms up and overhead into a low crescent lunge. Now bring your arms out to a T and then take a twist to the right. Bring the left elbow to the right knee, the palms joined together, and the right elbow is reaching up and overhead. Now release from that. Palms face to the right now. We've come back up into a low crescent lunge. And then back to center. Reach the arms high and then bring the hands down on either side of that right foot. Now step the right knee back so it meets the left knee. We've come back to table pose. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, press your tailbone back towards child's pose, but don't bring your knees apart. Leave your knees right where they are, right under the hips. And then glide forward. Drop the hips down. Your hands are going to be behind your shoulders now. Press your navel down towards the mat. And then rise back up and back towards child's pose. This is the second one. Rise through table pose. Glide the hips forward and down. Remember, your hands are behind your shoulders here. And last one, press the tailbone back towards the heels. And then rise forward through table pose. And then drop the hips, maybe lift your chin a little bit higher. Now look off to your left, and then to the right, and back to the left, and one more time to the right. Back to center. Now draw the navel up as we come towards table pose. Pause for a moment, and then step the left foot forward. So the left foot comes between the hands. You may want to heel toe your left foot to the left a little bit. Create a little wider stance. Now press in the left foot, the left knee stays bent, reach up and overhead, and the arms come out to a T. Take your twist, twisting to the left this time. Bring the right elbow to the knee, join the palms, reach the left elbow high. Take a breath. And one more. Now press into the left foot and rise up, palms face to the left this time. So we've come back in out of the twist. Actually, we're sort of still in the twist, but we're still facing to the left. And now we're facing back to center. Reach the arms high and exhale. Bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Now tuck your toes on the right foot and bring the right knee off the mat. So we've come to runner's lunge. And now step your right foot forward and let your head drop down. This is a standing forward fold. First time in this pose. My hamstrings are feeling really tight, particularly in the back of my left leg. So I'm going to bend my knees a little bit here. Once I do that, I can drop my head down a little bit more and maybe bend my elbows because my palms are on the mat. Maybe yours are, maybe they aren't. Bring the weight into the front of the feet so the heels are almost beginning to float. Now bring your arms out to a T, press into the front of the feet, keep the heels floating as you rise. Come all the way up, reverse swan dive, bring the hands together overhead, and then exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Good job. Inhale up, exhale. This time bring the hands behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Press your knuckles towards your heels. Take a deep breath. Now notice my spine is bent backwards a little bit, but not too much. So it's not a big back bend like that. I'm not looking up to the sky. What I'm doing is trying to draw my shoulder blades together, creating a nice stretch at the top of the chest and in the shoulders. Now hinge at the hips. Keep the spine nice and long. See if you can keep your weight in the front of the feet. Now come down all the way and then let your knuckles reach up towards the sky. Keep the elbows straight if you can. Bend the knees if this creates too much sensation in the hamstrings. Let your head drop down. Now release the hands. Bring them down to the mat. Leave your right foot forward. Step the left foot back. We've come to runner's lunge. Leave the left hand on the mat and reach the right hand high. And then bring the right hand down inside the right foot and reach the left hand high. This is a revolved lunge twist. We've done this a million times. Now spin your left heel to the mat. Keep the right knee bent and rise to Warrior Two. Take just a breath or two in Warrior Two, settling into the pose. Now straighten the right leg, pivot on the right heel so the toes on the right foot point to the left side of your mat. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, come halfway down. Keep your spine long. See if you can come to a place where your spine is parallel to your mat or to the floor. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, reach the knuckles up towards the sky, and let your head drop down. Maybe pull your hands forward so they're up and overhead. Let your head drop down, probably creating a lot of sensation in the back of the legs. Now keep the fingers interlaced, keep the arms long, press into the pinky toes, and rise slowly. Come all the way up. And then once you're all the way up, pause for a moment, and then release the hands. Bring them back out to a T. Now pivot on the left heel and bend the left knee. Find Warrior Two towards the back of your mat. Anchor into the pinky toe of that right foot. Now cartwheel your hands down on either side of your left foot. Leave the right hand on the mat and reach the left hand high. This is a lunge twist. And then bring the left hand down. Press it into the mat inside that left foot. Reach the right hand high. Now spin the right heel to the mat. Keep the left knee bent and rise to Warrior Two. Settle into the pose. Now straighten the left leg. Pivot on the left heel. So we've come to our wide-legged stance, Prasarita. This time reach the arms up and overhead and then take opposite elbows. Press the elbows towards the sky. Now try and keep your biceps on either side of your ears. Keep your spine long, so don't bring your chin to your chest. Hinge at the hips. Find lots of core engagement here. Come only halfway down and then rise all the way back up. This is where you feel it in the abdominal muscles. Now reach the arms out to a T, releasing opposite elbows. Pivot on the right heel, bend the right knee, find Warrior Two. Take a breath. Now as you exhale, bring the hands down on either side of the right foot and come up onto the ball of the left foot, and then step the right foot back to plank pose. Bring your gaze forward just about a foot, not more than that. Now the knees come to the mat. Chest and chin are going to follow as we come into Cobra Pose, and then release. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and lift your hips into Downward Facing Dog. Pedal it out now. This is our very first time in Downward Dog. So bend one knee and then the other. Keep pressing your hands into the mat. Press the heels down towards the mat or the heel of the leg that you're straightening. Continue pedaling it out. Keep your spine nice and long. You do that by pressing your hands into the mat and reaching your tailbone towards the top of the wall behind you. You feeling that stretch in the calf muscles on the back of the legs? Now find stillness in Downward Facing Dog. And then bend your knees and take a big hop forward so the feet end up between the hands. Let your head drop down. Little bend in the knees is fine here if you like. Now the arms come out to a T. Press into the front of the feet and rise. And then reach the arms up and overhead and bring them back down to heart center. Take about 3 breaths. Just notice the breath flowing in and flowing out. One more. Now chair pose. Reach the arms up and then bend the knees. Come to chair pose with the feet about parallel. Lift your gaze up so you're looking straight forward and then pull your tailbone down towards your heels. So the toes are almost coming off the mat as you find most of the weight in the heels. Now bring your arms out to a T and then take a twist to the left, the palms face to the left, maybe bend the knees a little bit more. And then back to center and to the other side, palms face to the right this time. Reach the hands apart from one another. And back to center, reach up high, back to chair, and now straighten the legs and swan dive to a forward fold. Come to a half lift. And as you exhale, let your head drop down and then leave the right foot forward. Step the left foot back, but not all the way, just about a 3/4 step. Bend your right knee, and we're going to come up to Warrior One. And notice that the pinky toe on my left foot, the back foot, is anchored into the mat. And that left heel is on the mat as well. Remember to square your shoulders and your hips to the front of the mat and lift your gaze up so you're looking straight forward. The gaze is nice and level here. Take a deep breath. Now, bring the right hand behind you, bend the right elbow, and press the back of that right hand right into the sacrum. Now, reach up through the left hand, really stretch up through that left shoulder, and then rebend the right knee if you straightened it. Now, hinge at the hips. Reach the left hand forward. Try and keep that left bicep right outside the left ear, and then press into the right foot and rise back up. Let's do that twice more on this side. Reaching through that left hand, right knee stays bent, and rise back up. And one more time, reaching and rising all the way back up. Now release the right hand so we come back to Warrior One, where we began. Now straighten the right leg and bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers behind the back. That's one option. Your other option is to bring the palms together and point the fingers up towards the sky, so you're pressing the pinky fingers of both hands into your low back. Either way is okay. Just find the arm posture and the hand posture that works for you in the pose. Both legs are straight. Now keep your spine long, hinge at the hips, fold forward, come down about halfway, and then press into the right foot and slowly rise all the way back up. Good work. Release the hands, bend the right knee. Bring the hands to heart center now with the palms pressing together. And then step your left foot forward so it meets the right foot. Take a breath. Now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Come to a half lift this time. Bring your hands either to the top of the shins, so you're looking sort of straight down at the mat or the floor. Or maybe your hands can come all the way down to the mat, and you can lift your gaze up a little bit. Now step the right foot back. The left foot follows. We've come to plank pose. And now our very first vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Stretch it out now. Feel the stretch in the whole back body, all the way from the heels up through the back of the knees, the back of the legs, and into the glutes. And then from the waist through the low back, the mid back, and then the upper part of the back, the shoulder blades, and the neck, and the head, and then all the way into the arms. So feel that stretch along the whole back of the body. Now on an inhale, lift your left leg up, and then a 3/4 step forward with the left foot. You can bring that left foot out to the left a little bit. Spin the right heel to the mat, bend the left knee and rise. Let's find Warrior One on our second side. Remember to square up your hips and shoulders to the front of the mat. That's the biggest alignment miscue that we have in this pose, is having the hips off to the right like that. What we want is for the hips to be straight forward. One more breath. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back. Do it in the awkward way, using the non-dominant grip. Re-square your shoulders to the front of the mat. Keep the left knee bent, and now hinge at the hips and fold forward. Now press in the left foot and rise back up. And one more time. Twice more. This is the second one on this side. And we're doing it a little differently on this side than we did on the other. On the other side, we had the one arm reaching out. We'll just do it a little differently on this side. Press in the left foot and rise back up. Now straighten the left leg. Release the hands. Let them float up and overhead so the palms are facing towards one another. The arms are straight here. Re-square your hips to the front of the mat. Now hinge at the hips. Keep the biceps on either side of the ears. Keep your spine long. Come down halfway. And then press like crazy into that left foot as you rise. Feel the core engage, particularly the abdominal muscles. Then as you exhale, bend the left knee. Bring the hands to heart center. And step the right foot forward so it meets the left foot. Standing at the front of the mat with your hands at heart center. Let your eyes close down. Take a breath. Whew. And one more. Good. Now hinge at the hips. Begin to fold forward. Let your head drop down. Come to a half lift. And exhale. Let the head drop all the way down. Now chin on chest, round the spine as you rise. Let your arms float high. And then exhale the hands and bring them to heart center. Now tree pose. Keep the weight in the right foot. Pick the left foot up. Bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. I'm laughing because for some reason I can't seem to get into this pose at the moment. So I'll take a different a posture, same pose, but a little bit different configuration, so that now I feel steady with the pose. Now I'm not fighting. I've found my way to balance in this pose. Take another breath. Now, see if you can bring the left foot to the right knee, and then begin to bend that right knee, coming into a standing figure 4. And come down as far as you're able. And then when you're ready, bring your arms out to a T with the palms facing down. Release the left foot. Press the left foot straight back. So we've come to Warrior 3, airplane variation. And now we're going to find half moon pose. Bring the right hand down. Reach the left hand up. Press through that left heel. And see if you can bring the left foot so it's about level with your left hip. And then when you're ready, release the left hand down. Let your head drop down. This is standing split. See if you can let your forehead come closer to the knee or the shin on that standing leg. And maybe let your left leg lift up even a little higher. And that's it. Release the left foot down. Standing forward fold at the front of the mat. Now chin on chest, round the spine, drawing the navel up as you rise. Let your arms float high. And then exhale and bring the hands back to heart center. Take 3 breaths now. You can let your eyes close down if you like. And one more. Now let your eyes open and transfer the weight to the left foot. We're going to do the same balancing series, but on the other side. So balance on the left foot, pick the right foot up, and find your version of tree pose on this side. Couple more breaths in tree. And then the standing figure 4, so release from tree and bring the right foot to the left knee. Palms can press together. Bend that left knee. Good work. Now release the arms, bring them out to a T, release the right foot, press it straight back, and we've come to the airplane variation of Warrior 3. Press back through that right foot even a little bit more, reach the hands apart from one another, and look straight down. That right foot is about at the same level as the hip on the right side. Hands at about the same level as the shoulders. Good. Now let's find half moon pose. Bring the right hand down. Reach the left foot up. The left hand up. As we come into our half moon pose on our second side. And then release the hand. And I think I got you on the same side twice. So switch over to the other side if you've done this side already. We're going to find our standing forward fold on the second side. Now I think you should find your right leg reaching up and overhead here. Bend the elbows a little bit. Let your forehead come closer to your shin or the knee on that left leg. And then release the right foot back down to meet the left foot. Standing at the front of the mat, let your head drop down. Now take opposite elbows. Press the elbows down towards the big toes. Now press into the front of the feet. Keep your spine long. The biceps stay on either side of the ears as we rise. Lots of core engagement there. Now keep opposite elbows. I'm going to turn and face you. Bring the feet so they're a little bit wider than hip width apart. And then press the hips to the left and reach the elbows to the right. Reach through the left elbow more than the right elbow. And then inhale and rise. The core engages deeply as you do that. Bring the weight more into the right foot than the left. and reach through the right elbow. Inhale and rise, and over to the other side. Last one here, and then back up, and then over to the other side. Last time, hips pressing to the right, right elbow reaching to the left, and then inhale and rise. Keep reaching the elbows up high. And now a back bend. Bend the knees, bring the weight into the front of the feet, lift your gaze up, reach the elbows towards the back of the space you're in. And now reach up through the elbows, pulling yourself out of the pose. Release the arms. And swan dive to a forward fold. Come to a half lift. Exhale and let your head drop all the way down. Step the feet back, plank pose. And then flow through a vinyasa. Upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. On an inhale, reach the right leg up and then find three-legged dog, opening the hips to the right. Make sure you keep pressing that right hand down into the mat. Now level your hips and then bring the right foot forward, stepping it between the hands. Spin the left heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. This is our second time in Warrior Two on this side. Right knee nice and bent. Now let's find extended side angle pose, bringing the elbow to the knee. Reaching through that left hand. Another option for extended side angle pose is to bring the right hand down to the mat, reach the left hand up. Just a different way of doing the pose. Either one is okay. Rise now to reverse triangle pose. The right leg straightens, the right hand reaches up and back. You know how to do this. You can let that left hand come down the back of the leg a little more. Reach through the right hand. Now bring the arms out to a T. Press into the left foot and reach the right hand forward as we come towards triangle pose. Now bend the right knee and back to Warrior Two. Take a breath. Whew. Now cartwheel the hands down on either side of the right foot. Now pay attention. I want you to reach your right leg up and overhead. And now pigeon pose. Bring the right knee towards the right hand and the right foot towards the left hand. Untuck the toes. Bring the left knee to the mat. Maybe scoot that left knee back a little bit so that your right hip can rest on the mat, or a block if you have one, or a rolled blanket, or a pillow. Any of those things will work. Just anything to elevate that right hip a little bit. And that allows the left hip to come down and become level. Now, if this is creating pain in that right knee, you know what to do. Bring that right heel back closer to your pubic bone, and that should relieve any pain that you feel in the knee. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Rise up just a little bit higher, deeper back bend. And then exhale and fold forward. And let your whole upper body come down towards the mat. Maybe your forehead can rest on the mat. Maybe not. You can walk your hands forward a little if you like. Or you can stay up on the elbows. Any of those options are okay. One more breath in resting pigeon pose. Now, if your elbows are not on the mat, go ahead and bring the elbows to the mat. Bring your forearms to the mat as well. Then tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. What we're moving towards now is a dolphin plank pose. So step the right foot back so it meets the left foot in dolphin plank. And see if you can bring your hips down so that they're at the same level as your shoulders and your heels. We're going to find 3 more breaths in this pose. Big, deep breaths in. And then let the breath flow out completely before you take the next inhale. And do that twice more. Try and keep the knees off the mat if you can. Even if your body's shaking, that's okay. Last one, big deep breath. Now bring your knees to the mat and then tuck your toes, walk your hands back, and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Stretch it out now. Press the heels down towards the mat. On an inhale, lift the left leg up and step it all the way forward between the hands. Spin your right heel to the mat and come up to Warrior Two. Second time on this side. Left knee is bent, gaze is forward over the extended left hand. Now find extended side angle pose. Bringing the left elbow to the knee, reaching through the right hand. Press into the pinky toe of that right foot. Now rise, reverse triangle pose, left leg straightens, reach up and back with the left hand. And then the arms come out to a T. Now press into the right foot, reach the left hand forward and bring it down into triangle pose. Take a breath. And one more. Now bend the left knee, come back to Warrior Two. Settle into Warrior Two. And then bring the hands down on either side of the left foot and come up onto the ball of the right foot. So we're back to runner's lunge. Now press the hands into the mat. Bring the weight off the left foot. Reach the left leg up and overhead. And then pigeon pose, second side. Left knee comes towards left hand. Left foot towards right hand. Let that right hip drop down. Maybe scoot the right knee back a little bit. Now allow your body to move into a little bit deeper back bend. See if you can lift your gaze so you're looking level, straight forward. And then when you're ready, resting pigeon pose. Bringing the hands all the way down. And then the elbows down. And then if you can, maybe all the way down to the mat so your chest is resting on the mat or on that bent left knee. Perhaps your forehead can come to the mat as well. Enjoy about 3 more breaths in resting pigeon pose. 2 more. And 1 more. Now walk back onto the elbows and then the hands. And then tuck the toes, bring the right knee off the mat, and step the left foot back to plank pose. Pause for a moment in plank. And now flow through a vinyasa. This can be our last vinyasa of the practice, upward facing dog. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. And then from there, bend the knees and hop about to the middle of your mat. Bring the feet apart so that the toes overhang the edges of the mat. The heels are closer together than the toes. Bring the palms together and the elbows to the inside of the knees. We'll just open up the hips a little bit more. I think we can almost all use a little bit more hip opening. Good job. Release it. Bring the tailbone down to the mat and then roll all the way down. Once you're there, reach your feet up to the sky, legs up the wall pose, with the feet pretty much over the hips. See if you can pull your tailbone down a little bit, and then relax the back of the shoulders. So if your shoulders or the back of the shoulders are lifted up above the mat, just relax them, let them drop down. So here, what we're doing is relaxing the upper body while bringing a little bit of tension into the lower body, into the legs. And we're creating that tension in the lower body by pressing the tailbone down and kind of pressing up through the soles of the feet. Not too much, just a little bit. Just enough to keep the legs more or less straight and overhead. Now, you can either stay here or you can move into plow pose. It's your option. And for plow, bring the feet up and overhead and maybe touch the toes down on the floor behind you. You can interlace your fingers and reach the knuckles towards the front of the mat if you want in plow. 2 more breaths in plow pose. And if you're in legs up the wall, just stay there. Those in plow, release from plow. Bring your tailbone back to the mat. And now happy baby pose. Bring the hands to the pinky toe side of the feet and grab the pinky toe side of the feet, kind of pulling the knees down towards the armpits. Relax the tailbone so it kind of flattens out the low back. but the soles of the feet are reaching towards the sky still. That is, the soles of the feet are still parallel with the sky. Take one more breath. And then release the hands from the feet. Reach the heels up to the sky. Bend the knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And then walk your feet back, preparing for bridge pose. You'll know your feet are in the right position when you can brush your heels with your fingertips. Once you're there, press your feet into the mat. Not just the balls of the feet or the heels, but the whole foot. And then lift your hips up into bridge pose. And then tuck one shoulder blade under your body, and then roll over onto that. And then tuck the other shoulder blade under the body, so the shoulder blades come closer together. Now keep pressing the feet into the mat. Maybe lift your hips a little bit higher. And 2 more breaths. And 1 more big, deep breath. And now slowly release. Let the tailbone come down to the mat. Once it lands, pick the feet up, hug the knees into your chest, keep the back of the head on the mat. Hug both knees in, left hand on left knee, right hand on right knee. And now bring both hands to the right knee, straighten the right leg, and press the right foot forward. Now point the toes on the right foot. And hug that right knee towards the right armpit. And point the toes and reach the toes on the left foot away from you. Now bring that left knee back in. Hug both knees into your chest. And then both hands transfer to the left knee. Hug it towards the left armpit. Straighten the right leg. Point through the toes of the right foot. Hug the left knee down again towards the armpit. And then both knees come in. Hug them in. Let's go through that one more time on each side. Hug the knee in on the right side. Reach through the left, straightening that left leg. Then bring the left knee in. Hug both knees down. And then both hands transfer the left knee. Point the toes, straighten the right leg. And now hug both knees in. You can wrap your arms around your knees if you like. And then maybe bring your forehead towards your knees, rounding the spine. And then release the head and rock and roll yourself until you come to a seated posture. Once you're seated, find a nice cross-legged position. Breathe in deeply so that your spine lengthens. Feel your head rising up towards the sky. Feel that length in the torso. Now take another deep breath in. And then as you exhale, take a twist to the left. Bring the right hand to the left knee. Bring your left hand behind you. Try not to put any weight at all on the left hand. Just use it to steady yourself. Now breathe in deeply. And then as you exhale, let your body twist. And again, just as we did at the beginning of the practice, we're not trying to force anything to happen here. What we're doing is noticing if there's any resistance, and then maybe waiting a moment to see if that resistance to the twist will dissipate. And if it does dissipate, then maybe we can move into a deeper twist without forcing anything, just surrendering into it. Give it another breath, and then let it go. Slowly come back to center. Then we're going to go over to the other side. Breathe in deeply and again lengthen the spine, and then exhale and find that twist. It can be really effective to let your eyes close down so that you can better assess what's going on in your body, so that you can better feel for resistance. Just keep your focus on any areas where your body is resisting twisting. And then just notice if that resistance begins to fade a little bit. And if it does, you may find yourself moving more deeply into the twist. And that's it, folks. Let it go. Bring it back to center. Now take a deep breath in and a big open mouth exhale. Let's do that one more time. Big, deep breath in. Fill the whole body with breath. And let it go. Thank you so much for practicing today. Bring your hands to heart center. Join me in offering loving kindness to all beings everywhere. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may all beings be at ease. Namaste. Thank you again for joining us for our 45-minute Vinyasa practice. Take care.